everybody, and welcome back to F1 22. We are here in Imola for honestly, one of my favorite tracks to drive, actually, in a Formula One car. I absolutely adore this track. You join us in Q3. Unfortunately, Nico didn't make it to Q3. However, this is going to be our only good lap here in Q3, because as you can see, the rain is starting to fall. Therefore, it's just going to get worse and worse throughout the session. As we come across the line here, we're going to go to P6 for the moment. However, expect that to fall as more cars come across. You see there, Magnussen drops us to P7. I go ahead and start another lap here just to see if there was still enough grip on the track. However, after a couple corners, much like I thought, the grip just starts to go away. And we end up falling to P8 there. And that is actually where we end up here for our Q3 session. So Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen are on the front row for the sprint. However, Verstappen with a 5-place grid penalty, and Sergio Perez at the back in P10 because his fastest lap came on intermediates. So a very interesting sprint race should be at hand here with Charles Leclerc leading us off from the front of the grid and Verstappen with a 5-place grid penalty.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, George Russell, and Fernando Alonso. Magnussen, the Grim Reaper, Bottas, and Sergio Perez. Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Hülkenberg. Joe, Gasly, Alex Albon, and Lance Stroll. Tsunoda, Vettel, Ricciardo, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
So then here we are for the sprint race. Here come the 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we don't go. As always, we have horrible wheel spin off the start. Bottas, Schumacher, Ocon get past us. We're down to P11 before we even get to the first turn. Hülkenberg's actually alongside of us heading into the first turn along with Sergio Perez. We get really squirrely there on the exit of turns 2 and 3 there through 4, heading up to 5 and 6, the second chicane on the circuit now. And we have lost a ton of ground already with Esteban Ocon now in front of us. Sergio Perez also lost ground on that start. Remember, he started P10, has fallen back to P12 on the start. Meanwhile, Nico up a position into P13, so not all bad news there. At least Nico moves up. But it is going to take a lot of work if we want to get back into the points and back to where we started in this sprint race. Only 11 laps here, everyone on the medium tire, and rain is coming. Now, because this is the sprint race, I am going to jump around a lot more than I normally do for the races, simply because, again, the sprint race, all this does is set the running order. So P11 at the end of the first lap here. We're actually most of the way through lap number 2 here, through 12 and 13, heading up to the chicane at 14, 15. Ocon runs middle of the track, but we're going to go down the inside anyway on him. Get position. We are now into P10. Sergio Perez not able to follow us through. He's going to stay to P11, or P12 rather, for now, with Esteban Ocon falling back to P11. So Schumacher ahead. If this was a normal race, luckily we would be in the points by now. However, only the top 8 get points for a sprint, so we need to get 2 more spots if we have any chance of doing that. Lap 4. Here comes Sergio Perez on us. This Red Bull is just so much faster. However, in a straight line, we can compare. However, he's got DRS on us. We squeeze him a little bit. He actually makes a bit of contact with us there, trying to not go in the grass. He's going to go ahead, get it past us there in turns 2 and 3, but runs a little wide. We try the switch back there, but then just couldn't get the grip down on exit, and we do lose the position to Sergio Perez. As you can see, the rain's starting to fall more and more. So, who knows? I doubt we would see a switch to intermediates. Because again, we're about halfway through the sprint already. And the rain is just now falling as we have contact with Esteban Ocon in turn number, what is that? Like turn 9 and 10. We let Nico go because I saw him coming. I just decided to let Nico go because we are struggling for grip in these changing conditions. But Esteban Ocon makes contact with us as now we have a worn NGUH that's showing on our display there. So within a space of a couple corners, it's all falling apart around us. Let's take a look at the replay here. Esteban Ocon goes for a look down the inside. You know, let me know if you think that was my fault. I think that's kind of like almost a racing incident just because he came in pretty late, but he did get pretty far alongside us. And I just didn't expect him to be so far alongside us at that point.
Okay, the forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes.
So stronger rain on the way, but we have really lost ground here in this race. It is not going the way that we need it as Ocon pits, and for some reason Sergio Perez does as well, because that contact we made with him wouldn't have affected his front wing, I didn't think. So oddly enough, Perez pits as well. Here comes Guan Yu Zhou. He's going to go down our inside into the corner, but runs a little deep. We're going to get alongside him now. And we'll go ahead take that position back as Lando Norris now looks down the inside to steal the place from Zhou as well. However, not able to do it for now. And unfortunately, this has allowed Nico to absolutely run away from us. He is P10 and 3.5 seconds up the road as we are struggling to even hold on to P11. As I said, these changing conditions are really a struggle bus for me. On to lap 7, you can see Norris has gotten past Guan Yu Zhou as we head into turn 7, and there's contact. A massive pileup here as Guan Yu Zhou is out of the session. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the session, and a huge pileup. Vettel is out. Safety car. Gasly gets past us there, as well as Tsunoda. Mick Schumacher is out. Tons of cars with damage. Latifi has a 5-second penalty. We need to come in for a tire change and a wing change. What in the world happened? It didn't feel like I lost grip. It feels like I got hit. So let's take a look at the replay here. And Guan Yu Zhou heads up the inside of Norris and into us as well. Just an incredibly late move from the Chinese driver. And it causes absolute chaos here. Here's on board with Guan Yu Zhou. As he heads through the chicane. I mean, that was a late move on Norris, and then he steps on the gas again. I don't know if you heard it, but he stepped on the gas again and just ran into me. So that is 100% on the Chinese driver. Here's on board with Daniel Ricciardo. You can just see, just causes this huge sandwich effect and just causes a whole bunch of drivers to fall out of the race. So absolute chaos in the sprint race here. So we're going to go ahead, come into the pit lane along with a whole bunch of other cars. Tsunoda's in, let's see here, Stroll's in, Latifi's in. And I imagine some of those cars, Albon and Ocon, will pit as well. So it's all turned on its head here in the back of the pack here. So we go ahead, get the soft tires on, and we've got trouble with the front wing removal, so we're going to lose even more time in the pits. So that's just even better. Wonderful, 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 wonderful job from our crew here. There are going to definitely be no points on offer today for the sprint race. We are well back in the pack now. P17 out of 18 cars currently on track. And I'll tell you what, to make things even crazier here in the sprint race, while we're under the safety car, Esteban Ocon, who made contact with us earlier, out of the sprint race with an engine failure. And I'll tell you what, this is how crazy it was. I thought we were so far back because of everything that happened with the safety car, and so they could get a green flag with enough laps to go. as you can see, we are green flag racing. The pack is heading towards turn 7, and we aren't even on past the front straightaway yet, so looks like it'll be P16 out of 17 runners here in the sprint race, so this just did not go the way we want. Charles Leclerc going to come across the line. He will take P1 and start on pole position for tomorrow. Max Verstappen V2, and I believe that's Lewis Hamilton. Yes, it is Lewis Hamilton coming across the line, P3. What's happened here? The Red Bull is around, and Lewis Hamilton runs into the back of Leclerc. What has happened at the end of this sprint race? Max Verstappen comes across the line and just doesn't slow down. He runs right into the back of Charles Leclerc, your winner and pole sitter. So Lewis Hamilton sees Verstappen hit Leclerc and decides he wants to do it too, I guess. What an absolutely bonkers way to end the race. Unfortunately, damage that's happened after the race doesn't count, because otherwise they would both be in trouble for tomorrow's race. But after the race, as you can see here, we are going to change the MGUH. We're going to go ahead and change the turbo as well as the gearbox for the race, since we'll be starting at the back anyway, as wear already becoming an issue on our car, but looks like we'll be starting dead last for the Grand Prix.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters wearing red today, and they've all turned out for what we're expecting will be a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, and Fernando Alonso. Verstappen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Bottas, Hülkenberg, and Lando Norris. Gasly, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Stroll. Perez, Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, and Daniel Ricciardo. Vettel, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, they've taken a grid penalty, and Grim Reaper. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
So then, as I said, it is all work ahead of us. Dead last on the grid. You see our car there. So here we go. 5 lights we wait on. And let's see what we can do. 32 laps ahead of us. Lights out. Another horrible getaway. Shocker to absolutely no one involved. But it doesn't really matter at this track, because again, we're dead last. But also, it's not like we can make a dive bomb on the AI into turn 1 at this narrow circuit. Caution out in front of us. And Charles Leclerc, I guess, felt bad about all the people wrecking him yesterday. He goes off in the first turn and is now dead last on the race. As you might have been able to tell here, we are on the hard compound tire. We're going to try a different strategy. It's literally we have to try something different in this race as we go up the inside of Esteban Ocon through turn 7. Get a little squirrely there on the exit, but hold on to the position for now. Even though we lost ground here, luckily the AI really stack up on the first lap, so you can see we're able to catch back up pretty quickly. In fact, we go down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo into turn 17 there, and just like that, we're up to P19 after just 1 lap. So not a bad start to our race, especially considering we are on the harder compound tire to begin with. But like I said, we just gotta try something different here, because I don't think we'll have the pace to get up through the pack here. This track is just so hard to pass on. It's not really something that you can try to do, is just straight up pass everyone at this track. But as long as we can stay with these cars here, we should be relatively decent here.
Okay, DRS will be enabled at this lap. You can use it when you're within second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So DRS is now active as we try to hold off Charles Leclerc. We are starting to catch up to Daniel Ricciardo again. He did get past us there on the previous lap there. Just had a better straight line speed, but no issue there. We are now P20 in the race, and just looking to see what we can do here. With the harder compound tire, we know we're going to be slower right now. All our hope really is that we are going to be able to just hold position, hold up pace with the rest of the grid here. And as we run wide there, because Ocon looked in the inside and kind of spooked me there. Didn't want a repeat of the sprint race yesterday. But you know, just kind of hope we can keep pace with the cars in front of us. And then once their tires start to wear out, that's when we can start to pounce. And again, we'll be able to go longer as well. So kind of playing the long game here. So these early couple laps should be relatively boring to us. Like I said, I'll let Daniel Ricciardo go earlier. We'll try to get him back here in a little bit. It actually took quite a few laps here, as we're now at about the middle part of lap 5 there, as we head to turns 11, 12, and 13 here. As you can see, really big checkup here in the pack. It's actually let the next set of midfielders get away from us, so I guess we need to start putting some sort of move on as they really slowed down here for the chicane. We're going to go down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, take that spot. Charles Leclerc going to go past as well, so a difficult set of corners there for the McLaren driver as he falls 2 spots there. As end of the lap, we then get to the back of Nicholas Latifi here. He's going to have DRS, but so do we, and we have the button and a better power unit. So we're going to go ahead down the inside of him, down the straightaway, as another yellow flag will secure us a position there as Mick Schumacher's run off. I'll tell you what, the AI really seemed to struggle in turns 2 and 3.
Okay, clear.
So, you know, if the AI keep making mistakes in that corner, maybe we can just keep benefiting from it and taking those positions away. But up to P17 now on lap 7 of 32. So it's decent progress. However, it's not enough. As you can see, the cars are starting to get away from us, as well as those battles further up in the midfield. End of lap 11 here. So we're at the end of where we were yesterday in the sprint race. As you can see, we're only up to P16 now. So I tell you what, this is not going according to our plan. It's as you take a look there, I believe that's one of the Haas's, so that would have to be Kevin Magnussen. They are miles ahead. They're really holding up the pack. So our only hope is that maybe he can, you know, K-Mag can continue to hold up this pack, and that'll help us catch up a bit. But man, I'll tell you what, all of these guys are starting to get really far ahead of us. And I don't think a tire strategy is going to make too much of a difference on this one. So might need some outside help, might need a safety car to get in contention for points in this race. But not looking too great. End of lap 13 here, you can see Albon's into the pit. So this is the start of the pit sequence. So we're going to start pushing a little more on the hard tire because the medium tires are going off. And again, they're going to start pitting here, so we're going to see what we can do on the hard tire. Now, because of the delta, we should be able to get past just about everyone here. So really the hope is everyone comes in together, they continue to fight. Because we're in the clean air with the hard tire, we at least gain some time on this pack in front of us. Not necessarily Guan Yu Zhou and Sebastian Vettel, but the pack in front of us, them, that has most of the midfield runners. So maybe, just maybe, there's a shot we can still get points here. But at the end of lap 14 here, start of lap 15, you can see one of the Mercedes cars is in, Kevin Magnussen's in, as well as a whole bunch of the midfield. So this is it. This is when we really got to start pushing here. We're currently running P14. At the end of lap 14, a lot of people come in. A couple cars stay out, of course. And it looks like everyone's switching over to the hard compound tire for the remainder of the race. And it looks like the only car that got ahead of us there is going to be Lewis Hamilton. So all in all, not bad, considering Hamilton was even further ahead of Kevin Magnussen and the rest of the crew. Looks like Ocon and Schumacher stayed out with us there. So we are currently P9, currently in the points. Honestly, a safety car might help us just to help us with the gap. However, this would be a bad time to switch to medium tires. A couple laps later, lap 16, everyone else pits as well. And George Russell actually gets out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So now the two Mercedes cars gonna go at it with each other, hopefully. As we see Nico Hulkenberg currently P5 there, but dropping down the order as he pits and other cars come out. Looks like Kevin Magnussen still in that spot. So right now, Kevin Magnussen running about P4 on track because the cars in front of me have already pitted. We are essentially the only car still yet to pit, and as you look at the tire wear, it is pretty bad. And what I was doing here is I was staying out, monitoring the gap just to see what kind of gap we had to the car behind us with Kevin Magnussen and Max Verstappen. So at the beginning of this lap rather, it's 11.8 seconds. So I kind of want to see if we really push on this lap. I'm considering this our in lap. You know, how bad does the gap fall as Verstappen hits? It's an interesting call. He must have gotten some damage or something. So not sure what's going on there with the Red Bull driver. But again, as we head through turn 7, gap still around 11.4 seconds, so not terrible. But we are going to come in at the end of this lap, get onto the medium compound tire, and see what we can do with the rest of the lap here. And as we actually head through turn 16 towards 17, you see the gap's only come down to 10.9, so it actually hasn't gone down as much as I feared on our in-lap. So, you know, we're going to lose some time here in the pits, obviously. We're going to fall back, but we should be a little bit closer to this group now, since our pace was pretty good on these hard tires. So into the pits we come, 10.5 the gap to Magnussen on entrance. Of course, we are going to fall back. But, man, this is such a long pit road, it seems like. And,
I think there's an error with the removal of one of the rear wheels. They'll be disappointed here.
so not only does the game not show my pit box, then we have an issue just like we did in the sprint yesterday. So 2 days in a row, our pit crew has issues. It is time we had a talking to them. It seems like a lot of mistakes by the default pit crew on this game. We come out ahead of Esteban Ocon in P14. And looking at that gap, you know what? I think we would have gained some time because it looks like we're kind of back to where we were before this in terms of our gap to that big pack in front of us. So I think we lost a ton of time with that slow pit stop. So, you know, while I'm angry about that, I still don't think it would have been enough. Just because our pit stop wouldn't have caused us that much of a time loss compared to what we had. So here we are, P14 here, about halfway through the race. Like I said, we're going to need to really push on these medium compound tires, see what kind of ground we can make. And then I guess maybe just hope something happens, like someone blows an engine or something. In fact, here we are, lap 20 of the race. We're heading into turn number 9, and we make contact with Ocon again, second day in a row, and this one causes the safety car.
Reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track. Be careful.
So the engineer telling me that the FAA has called safety car for an insane amount of debris on the track, and for the second day in a row, we make contact with Esteban Ocon in turn number 9. Let's take a look at the replay here. You know, yesterday I said it was, you know, kind of 50-50 on it. Now, that angle doesn't show you the incident, but look, there's like no debris on the track, just a small piece, but apparently that's enough for a safety car in this game. A little extreme, if you ask me, but let's ride on board here, and yeah, that one's on Esteban. The incident in the sprint race, I kind of did a 50-50 blame. That one is completely on Esteban Ocon. A very late lunge down the inside, was nowhere near alongside me. And just a poor move from the Frenchman. Now, under the safety car, much like yesterday, an engine blows, except this time it is the leader. Carlos Sainz is out of this Grand Prix. Unbelievable scenes here with just 11 laps to go. Carlos Sainz in his Ferrari out of the Grand Prix from the lead. Reliability is hitting all of these teams, it seems. Remember, it hit us. We had to change quite a few components. But now it is really hitting these teams throughout the weekend as Ferrari have an issue in the race and from the lead. So this has turned into a disaster of a day for Ferrari. And I don't believe Red Bull have many points at the moment either. Verstappen, I don't think, is in the points. I think Perez is the only shot at points for Red Bull. So I believe the Mercedes cars are now 1-2. So I'll tell you what, this is really working out for the Mercedes duo. So, end of lap 23, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Want to make sure we can get past Alex Albon here on the straightaway. So, kind of lagging back just a little here through turn 17 so we can get a good run through 18. We're going to get on the button here. We also have a better power unit over Albon. Green flag is out. And he's not very close to Gasly, so he doesn't have much of a slipstream. We do. We're going to go down the left-hand side through turn 1, quote-unquote. You know, the straightaway is technically turn 1. But into turn 2, we are going to get past Alex Albon there pretty easily. Gave us a little bit of fight there in the middle of 2 and 3. But we're going to get past him there. We are past the Williams driver, and now we can set our sights on Pierre Gasly. Points very much on offer now again. And thanks to that safety car timing when it was, it actually ends up kind of helping us because we haven't really used much of our medium compound tires. So we're going to go ahead, try to push here, get into the points, and from there just kind of try to defend once we feel the grip start to fall off and when the hard tire is going to come to life. There's side-by-side battles up ahead. Bottas, and I believe that's Norris. That really holds up the AI here as we head towards turns 14 and 15. In fact, we're going to take a look down the inside of Pierre Gasly. Go ahead, get past him. And just like that, we are P11, so 2 spots gained. As a brief caution thrown, not sure what for, but they go back to green really fast. As another caution, not sure what's happening here. It's Sergio Perez. Perez is slow and his engines is blown. Sergio Perez is out of this Grand Prix. And just like that, 0 points Ferrari, 0 points Red Bull, and we're going to get past Sebastian Vettel here, and maybe Guang Yu Zhou, no, but we make contact with him. All of a sudden, we're P9 in this race. What is happening? This has been the most insane Grand Prix ever. And I'll tell you what, while we're happy we're in the points, currently at double points for us, the people who are jumping up and down is Toto Wolff and Mercedes, because they are now 1-2 in this Grand Prix with both of their rivals on 0 points. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable scenes here in Imola. Lap 26 here, we are on Guang Yu Zhou. DRS has been enabled, but not right now. A little bit of contact there with Zhou as we head down the front straightaway towards turn number 2. Easily get past the Chinese driver who got into us yesterday in the sprint race. And just like that, we are now P8 in this race. Lando Norris and Valtteri Bottas in front of us. However, they are over a second up the road, so we are going to have to really push here, but I have a feeling our medium compound tire going to start to wear out here. Not necessarily lose all grip, but in comparison to the hard tire, which should be starting to come to life here in the race as time moves on. But I am at a loss for words on how to describe this race other than mayhem. Absolute mayhem as we are now P8. And as we move on to the end of lap 27, we're actually going to get onto the back of Lando Norris here. DRS for both of us. So we're going to use our ERS here down the straightaway. We are very low on ERS as you see the light blinking. Lando looks to the left, then jukes right. We're going to go to the inside here into turn 2 and 3 rather. Lando gets a little squirrely and will take the position for now. However, while I showed you that overtake because I was really proud of that crossover there, it actually didn't end up mattering too much because Charles Leclerc actually got past us there. So Charles Leclerc now to P7 and in the points. So Ferrari salvaging something from this Grand Prix is at least going to get some points, which is more than we can say for Red Bull. But across the line as we block Lando Norris here, it is a Mercedes 1-2 in this Grand Prix with Kevin Magnussen of Haas coming home third. Unbelievable podium here. And it is a double points finish in Imola for Desautels Racing. P22 to 8th.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And driver of the day for the second race in a row. How about that?
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the whole team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
I'll tell you what, from start to finish, this weekend has been insane. George Russell takes victory for Mercedes, a 1-2. Haas P3 with K-Mag. Alpine scores 4th. However, it is a double points result for us. Aston Martin scores a point with Sebastian Vettel. Lando gets McLaren their second points finish of the year. Mick Schumacher finishes outside the points while his teammates on the podium. And how about this? Red Bull, 0 points on the day. And Carlos Sainz, P22 as well, with a DNF. Taking a look at the driver standings, it is now super close between ourselves and Nico. And I'll tell you what, Charles Leclerc, 11 points back of Max Verstappen, 18 points for Hamilton, and 21 for Russell. This is getting really good in the driver standings. And the constructors' standings is also a fantastic battle to look at, as it is just 9 points between Mercedes and Red Bull. Ferrari now 19 back, and we extend our lead on Alpine just a little there now. 57 back of the leaders for us, 70 back for them, 51 to 38 the points. And now Williams, the lone team without a point. I'll tell you what, things get even better for us. Our build spec upgrade is done on the building, and all of our parts were upgraded and completed for the Miami Grand Prix. So, absolute great scenes here at Desautels Racing. All of our upgrades on the car for Miami, as well as a double points result in Imola. So, that is going to be it for this race. As I take a look at this diffuser here, the reason being, I was trying to see if anything else, how quickly we could get some parts on the car, or what we should do next. That diffuser is probably going to be my next upgrade here, just because some of these are not going to be on the car in time for Spain, as that's kind of our next goal here. So we're going to take another look at that diffuser, because that should, either way, if we rush it or not, it'll be on the car for Spain, hopefully. So we'll do the standard development there. But again, that's it for this video. I'm at a loss for words. Just such a crazy race. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, again, leave a like, comment what your favorite part of the weekend was. If you know how to help me with starts, please let me know as well down in the comments below. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!